We are, hey, Soon, how you going? Nice to have you in as always, mate. Nice to, hey, guys. Yeah, good to see you all. Look, it's great to have you guys. Hey, Ariel. Nice to have you guys in the room. It's going to be a different session today. We're going to talk a little bit about the differences of trading Forex, crypto, and stocks. We're going to put that to our panel. We've got Lloyd at the moment. We've got Shukri joining us soon. And I've got a recording of Gordon, which I'll play in about 5 minutes on this topic of, Lloyd, you've gone, on this topic of what the differences are. We're also going to make a special offer today. We're going to roll out our Master Trader course again, which offers you a chance to do a crypto course, a stocks course, and a Forex course. We're going to do the special offer we've done a couple of times again. And as always, when we do that, we will limit it. Normally we limit it to 3 people. I might limit it to 5 today. And for the price today, I've got something pretty special in mind, and I'll remind me later on. I'll try and remember, but I've got something for the price today that is just a little bit amazing. So without further ado, Lloyd, for you, what's the difference between trading Forex, stocks, and crypto?
Crypto, I dare not say first, but I would say major difference is stocks is lesser of trading for me, but more of an investment stuff for long-term horizon. Yep. Forex serves as a shorter-term horizon for me to generate wealth faster and regular. Yeah.
So just giving Shukri some advice on how to get in. And so, sorry, for you, stocks is a longer term play, and Forex is a more intermediate term or shorter term play. Trying to get in and out of Forex markets 3 or 4 days. You're trying to be in stocks 3 or 4 weeks, 3 or 4 months, 3 or 4 years even.
Yeah, so the objective is also very much different. I'm using Forex more to generate wealth. I'm using stocks to more preserving wealth and more for retirement purposes.
Okay, so very much as again, Forex gets cashed up to spend, and stocks is more of a long-term play, which I think when I hear that makes a lot of sense. Look, I'm going to bring up some charts. Is that Shukri coming in? I can hear a bit of crackling in the background. Looks like it is. I'm going to ask Shukri when he comes on camera the first question. Then I'm going to show some charts. Then I'm going to play a recording I did today with Gordon and we did this morning on this topic. It's a bit more wide-ranging with Gordon, but we'll listen to that, and then we'll come back and ask you guys. And as always, if you're in the room and you have any questions, then please ask us any questions that you do have. We would love to get your questions on this. I think it's a fascinating question. I think, look, one of the things you've got to work out as a trader is what you want to trade. And this trading personality, I don't know why Shukri not coming on camera today. This trading personality stuff is really important, but just as important as to understand whether you should be looking for repeated small winners or occasional big winners, is to understand where that should put you. And, you know, for mine, trading a Forex market and a crypto market and a stocks market are quite different. And knowing which one, oh, sorry, I need to give you camera powers. I need to give Shukri some powers, and I will do that right now. James has done that. He's now co-host. He'll have some powers. And you're right, Shukri, can you come on now?
Yeah.
G'day, mate. How you doing?
Okay, I'm here, I think.
So, Shukri, to you, what's the difference between trading crypto, stocks, and Forex?
Okay, Forex to me is very, how do you say it? Evergreen. It's always there. It will always be there every time. And the way it's taught is also good because you short and long that, and that's okay. But the thing is, you got to be very good with your money management. Stocks really depends on the season, right? And now you see S&P is up, but of course S&P has been up for a very long time. And you really got to know the play. You know, you really got to know what stocks are hot, what sectors are hot. You know, a group of stocks can go up, and even in a group that goes up, 1 or 2 can go down if these results are bad, especially now, right? The results in the US are out, and you can see Zoom. Okay, Zoom went down, and then, you know, it's all subjected to news. Crypto, okay, crypto is the wildest of the lot, but to me, it's easier than stocks because they go up all at the same time. They go down all at the same time, although it's harder to short. And crypto, of course, because it's new, because it's illiquid compared to stocks and certainly to Forex, it goes up by more. And you just have to take a position and you basically have to stick by it. So we have in Forex where, you know, I think the stop losses are very tight. you have in stocks where, you know, the stop losses are wider, but you have in crypto, sometimes you just have to hodl it, take a position, especially if you're a bull market. And as long as you are fairly diversified, you should go, you should make it. And I think the problem is that, you know, even when I was new coming to crypto, is that I just didn't know how fast these things can go. So you usually take profit early, and then you start chasing the crypto, and that will be the start of your doomsday. Because it can go down just as faster than it can go up, as they say, right? The bull climbs up the stairs, the bear jumps out the window. So that's the wonderful rule of crypto. And for this cycle, I think it ends in 2022, probably around June 2022. Then we go to a crypto winter. Even Coinbase, the biggest broker, says this. And that's, I don't know what I will do after that. So very seasonal.
Cheers, Suki. Look, I want to, before I go to the recording from Gordon, and guys, the recording from Gordon, sort of 15, 20 minutes long, covers a lot of stuff, certainly the different markets, some stuff from him on his view on it. And look, I think it's one of the things we could expect, right? At the end of the day, I'm expecting the crypto guy to tell me that crypto is best, the stocks guy to tell me that stocks is best, and the Forex guy to tell me that Forex is best. That's just human nature, right? But what I want to do now is just be a bit objective and have a look at some charts. And we'll talk a little bit about the difference and see if you guys are welcome to jump in on this if you want to. That is not what I was trying to share. There we go. If you guys got my charts up. So look, for mine, this is a pretty typical Forex chart in the last period of time. And we're going back here from July 2020. We come out of what was a previous range. We've jumped into this range, and the euro dollar sat between here and, let's call it sort of largely, sort of there, and, for this period of time, it has largely ranged. And, there's opportunities to make money on here. But because of the nature and the spread being so small, it's difficult to lose a lot of money on this if you're well controlled. And I think at the moment, the best trades in Forex are the trades from the outside of these ranges back to the middle of these ranges. And they happen very quickly. Very quickly do they come back in when Forex prices extend out. And I think we're seeing these on a lot of Forex charts. And what it allows for mine is really, it allows for quite consistent earnings. You're not going to get, massive long trends. These are still big trends, don't get me wrong, from bottom to top here, these things are always sorry. From bottom to top here, we're going from 1.160 to 1.22, so 600 pips. They're decent moves, but really that's quite a compacted market. And I think if you're trading this, you've got to be prepared to trade outside in. So you've got to be prepared to trade from here to the middle, and from here to the middle, and from here to the middle. You'd want to see what they are, maybe from there to the middle as well. I think on the way out, you've got to be, I think here and here, and you're trading at proper risk, full risk. And I think, on the way out, you're probably trading at slightly reduced risk because it looks like it's going to run out. And I think if you put these charts on, just about any of the majors and minors at the moment, you're going to see a similar looking chart. It's going to surprise you, but you are. Now, so I think it requires a little bit of skill and a lot of control. And if you do that, you can make consistent money because it's a very consistent market, really. And then you got this. This is US 500. And look, I said this last week when we had Hingen talking about how he was trading the wave rider on this and smashing it, the old wave rider. And look, you can see why, right? And I've got to say that if you're a trend trader, you're not making money from this, I think you have to have a really good look at why. Really, you're not prepared to trade it because the name on it's wrong, because this is what trend looks like. And, Gordon will talk more about this, but for mine, the thing with stocks is that, you are always concerned about a bit of a rip back. Can come back, quite, the pullbacks here, right? Goes up quite slowly, quite sharp pullback, up quite slowly, quite sharp pullback, up quite slowly, quite sharp pullback, up quite slowly, quite a sharp pullback, up quite slowly, quite a sharp pullback. So it's not all like that, but you see a lot of these, boom, 3 or 4 days, boom, 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 boom. And they can catch you. You've either got to follow stop losses far enough back to sit through them, or you've got to be prepared to say, well, I'm just going to make so much money out through here that when one hits me, it doesn't really matter. And I think that's pretty realistic in these moves, to be honest. Yes, if you can't make some money, you know, sort of between here and here, or here and here before you get that. If your stop loss is right, you should be okay. Now, here's the Bitcoin chart. As Shukri said, my God, I mean, this thing literally, this is days, remember, went from 60,000 to 30,000 in 6 days. So it drew back 50%, and that's the risk. You can't have a stop that'll survive that. What you can do, on the other hand, is it can go from 30,000 to 60,000 also in 15 days. And that's the Bitcoin thing, where, you know, Bitcoin is the accelerated model where the returns are far bigger, but the risk is far harder to hide from. And, you know, the truth is that while this is now considered to be the crypto winter, if you got caught here, there was nothing to tell you this was the crypto winter really at this point. Maybe that level was a bit of an indication, but it wasn't confirmed. By the time you knew you were in the crypto winter, you know, and that's crypto. Make money very quickly, make money very slow. That's my opinion on it. And I think you've really got to understand your personality and whether you can sit through this and get back in the market to take advantage of that, whether it's just too tough for you, whether you need the consistency of that, or whether you're prepared to take the skill, and again, a different kind of consistency in this, where you're prepared to trade both ways. I think more from the outside in on this. Just going to pop back out of the share screen. Look, I had the good pleasure today to spend some time with Gordon on this. Unfortunately, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning where he lives, so he couldn't join us live. But I asked him some questions about this. I thought it was a fascinating interview, one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the recording of my session with Gordon this morning. Then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Shukri and Lloyd a bit more about this topic. We're going to make a special offer for you guys. James, we're right? You can play the video, James. With me by video today is Gordon Scott, our stocks expert. And hey, Gordon, how you doing? Hey, mate, look, I'd like to start off today. Mate, you've not come through the sound. Is your mic working?
Yeah, is it coming through now? How's that?
Perfect, mate. But I was going to start off today. We're talking today about the difference between stocks, Forex, and crypto. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is, in your experience, what's the difference between the markets? What's the difference for the trader?
Well, in the markets, it's a pretty tough comparison. Every other market over the past, let's go back 12 years, has underperformed what stocks, and particularly U.S. stocks, have done. And there are varying degrees of volatility and opportunity in the U.S. stock market, but the trend has been up. It's really been that way for a century. But even in the past 12 years, it's still going up strong. There's always the possibility that could reverse. But even when stocks do reverse, they tend to make a really strong downward trend for a number of months. So you have evidence of a really strong trending market, whichever way it's going to go, compared to the cryptocurrency markets, which are still quite young. You know, they can make incredible moves, but they can also make incredible corrections and pullbacks and crashes, depending on which crypto you're in. In these days of government policy, government monetary policy, the currency markets of late have really been struggling. The pandemic has put an effect on all governments, all currency markets, that the policymakers are doing a lot with their money creation, and it's difficult for investors to feel like there is long-term sustainable value in the traditional currency markets. So stocks are a hedge against the inflation or devaluation of currencies, and cryptos, although they do have tremendous opportunity, they have tremendous volatility. So between the three markets right now, stocks have the unique position of being more attractive to the serious investor and trader. U.S. stocks also have the advantage of being a very highly liquid, highly seasoned, highly visible, highly popular market. And what that means is you've got all sorts of ways to profit from it. You've got options, you've got ETFs, which track every other asset class in the world, tradable right in the U.S. stock market. So it's hard to make the case that there's a better place to be an active trader than the stock market right now. From a personal standpoint, from a personal trading standpoint, it takes a little bit of education to be able to understand all the possible niche plays and sophisticated or simple strategies that you can take advantage of in investing in stocks. But there are a tremendous variety. I mean, it's true that you could take advantage of anything in any market, but few markets offer the liquidity, that is to say, tight bid-ask spreads, low transaction costs, and so forth, that are available in U.S. stocks right now. And so an individual trader has a lot of opportunity for learning just a small thing, a small 1 or 2 strategies, practicing at them and getting really good. You don't have to be world's best trader, Paul Tudor Jones, trading $10 billion in a macro position in order to make significantly good returns and even beat market average expectations. But you do need some education and some practice and a clear idea of what you're doing. The opportunities available have never been better.
Yeah, mate, when you talk about beating market average expectations, market average for the last 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, market average has been bloody good, hasn't it? And yes, beating that puts you in the high return area, right?
It does. This past couple of years anyway.
Yeah, look, there's a couple of different ways people can learn this from you, right? You do a Monday US Open show on our YouTube and our Facebook. They can have a look at that. We take a live trade every week. How's that been going?
That's been a lot of fun. We've had some really good winners. We've had, our share of winners and losers, but the winners that win have really done well. We did about 2 months ago, we did a Microsoft trade. Before that, we did an Apple trade. Both of those were superbly timed, and the Microsoft trade is still going. And we also had some recent calls that looked great, coming right out of the gate. I try to pick my best idea for what I think is going to do well right out of the gate and for the next 5 days. I mean, sometimes I don't always get them, but the ones I get look really good. And the most recent one that I want to recall is a trade on Spotify, the
music platform.
Yeah, the music platform, and it went really well and continues to. And so you just never know. You look at these things, and that one is really nice because it followed my gap strategy, which I've been trading for years. And the fun thing about that particular strategy is it doesn't matter what the market conditions are, good, bad, ugly. It's always there, and it comes along. That particular trade comes along anywhere from 2 to a dozen times a month. It's really easy to trade. It's not a trade where you have to guess where the next big move is going to come. You wait until a big move happens, and then you jump in after it. So it's a real safe trade, so to speak. That is to say, it's a trade that you can say, I don't need to guess. This is a good setup signal. I can just expect that the odds after this signal are going to be better than average. And they tend to be, not by leaps and bounds, just by a little bit, but that little bit every time you trade it is what helps you beat the averages. And like you say, if the averages are doing well and you're beating them even a little bit, then you're in the high end of earnings.
Look, if we've got people who are watching this show and they want to get into becoming a stocks trader, a proper, like a more depth knowledge of stocks trader with a bit more information. You've done a series of recordings for us, which is part of an introduction to stocks trading. There's a little bit of follow-up stuff after that as well. We're going to do a special offer tonight on the introduction to stocks. There's 4 videos. Now, what can you tell us about those? So
I made these videos specifically for people who might be trading out of the Singapore market, although it is applicable to anybody from any region of the world. If you don't know anything about stocks, if you have never traded US stocks or any stocks before, that's where this starts. It's the idea that, hey, what is it I need to know? What do I need to get started with? And then I move forward and talk about once you get started, you've got to find ways to create a little bit of a trading system. And I even give 2 ideas of ways to get started, little entry signals. One of them is this gap trade that I was telling you about that has done so well over and over. And another one has done even better. It's what I call the tall range setup. And it typically does even better than the gap strategy. The gap strategy have years of back testing behind it, both back testing and forward testing. I've been doing out of sample work with that for, about 7 years. And it has beat the market every one of those past 7 years since the results of its back test were published. And so I feel very comfortable with these 2 strategies that are part of this course. But I also talk about, hey, if you take this entry, that's only the beginning. See, most people will talk to you about, here's a trading system, and the system is the entry signal, where you get in. I spend a lot of time talking about where you get out. What is the exit rule, and why that exit rule is so much more important than the entry rule, and some even advanced techniques put in very simple terms for how to really supercharge the combination of a good entry and the right kind of exit rules that fit what you're trying to do. And I have coached people. People have spent thousands of dollars hearing me coach them one-on-one to learn these things in depth over the course of many weeks. And I've encapsulated these things into just 4 simple starter recorded sessions. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to getting questions answered from people who go through this, because I think that this is the first chance I'm going to have to basically coach people in a group. Everybody that takes this will get not quite all, but most of what I do in these one-on-one training sessions. I've had tremendous success with the one-on-one training program that I've done over the years. And recently, or just over the past couple of years, I even managed to refine this program in such a way that the last 15 people I put through, over half of them had market-beating results that were the first time they had ever traded profitably. And these weren't high experienced, a couple were, but most of these people were brand new, never traded stocks or options before, and they went through. So I set this particular curriculum up with the beginner in mind, who's willing to be patient and learn a bit. And I feel like this information is really worth its while. Personally, I feel like it's a great value at any price, but I'm anxious to hear what you guys are going to offer it for, because I think that I'm pretty excited to see what people can do with this information once they get their hands on it.
Look, really looking forward to it, Gordon. So we're going to do a special offer on it tonight. We'll put that at the end of the show. We're going to do an amazing offer on a stocks, crypto, and Forex combination with an account tied to it, or try a Forex account tied to it. Look, for people who finish the 4 videos, there's a Q&A session with you after that, so they can ask in a group the questions they want to. And after that, if they want to, there's the chance to go on to things like banking on randomness, your stocks course, which I thought was perhaps one of the best education programs I've ever done. I spent a day with a group and when you were there a couple of months ago, or a few months ago now. We've got the options course as well, and all of that will be unwound or explained, and all of this stuff is offered at ridiculously good pricing to get great knowledge. And as you said, Gordon, one of the things you specialize is taking people who are new to stocks onto a journey to outperforming the market. Just remember, guys, underperforming the market in the US market in the last 12 months has still been a bloody good effort. And if you're a trend trader and you haven't taken advantage of the trends on the S&P and the NASDAQ, you have missed your easiest market to trade over that period. One final thing for you, Gordon. People have been telling me it's over now for at least 4 years. It's not over, is it?
No, we don't see signs that investors are panicking. The market doesn't move by itself. The market is people making decisions. And I look every day for evidence of what kinds of decisions they're making. Just today, in fact, I noticed that there was a company that reported good earnings, and yet investors sold it down. Now, typically, I would be worried that that was a sign of a top, right? Because people are looking to exit even on good news. But what was really interesting about this stock was that it had record call buying. So people were getting out of the stock shares, but they were loading up in the options. And they're not doing that if they're pessimistic about the stock, because that's just throwing good money away for bad. And in fact, the earnings beat was good enough that you could expect that company to keep going. I've seen that story a lot just over the past couple of weeks. The idea that something may or may not move the stocks, but it doesn't tank them, right? And the biggest indicator is that volatility is still very low. When stock markets are at the top, when people are panicking and ready to get out, then you see volatility start to increase, both in the options market and in the stock market, where prices, the range of prices gets bigger and bigger. You have bigger candles every day. That's not happening. So we are in a green light situation by my estimation. I think also that the U.S. government has noticed that there are a couple of things in the retirement accounts. It'll take a little too long to explain it here right now. They've kind of been kicking the can down the road. It was something that could trip up the markets, but they've keep relaxing the standard there, and this big time bomb is, I think, diffused, and it isn't anywhere on the horizon for several months ahead. The U.S. Fed is saying, yeah, we're not gonna raise rates just yet. In fact, we're just gonna stop spending as much on bonds as we used to. But even that's gonna come later. The market's hearing all this, and they realize this spending isn't going away anytime soon. I can't afford to get out of the market right now. So yeah, we're not at a top. There is no indication that we're at a top. In fact, with Apple and Microsoft, the two most influential stocks in U.S. stocks, both making brand new highs of the past week, there's a pretty good indication that this market has more room to keep going.
I just checked my stock portfolio, going a little bit of Apple. I haven't had a look at it for a couple of weeks, so it sounds like it's going okay. Look, two things on that, right? ADX employment numbers out today suggest that the NFP is going to be soft, and if the NFP is soft, the tapering is not going to be happening in a hurry, so stock markets look good. But the other thing that I think is really important for people to understand, right, is that if you want a deregulated industry like a cryptocurrency, and it crashes, we've seen these things crash 15, 20, 30% in a matter of hours, never mind days. If you're on the stock market and it crashes 6%, it locks out, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's 10% is what they call the circuit breaker, and then you have to stop and wait till the next day. If it drops 5% early on in a number of hours, even then, some sort of temporary 15-minute trigger can get turned on. So far in recent months, those triggers, whenever they get implemented, whether on individual stocks or on indexes, have really kind of held the bottom. But that's really just an indication that we're not anywhere near a panicked, crashing market. And there are a lot of reasons that could crash the market, but I got to tell you, crashes don't come in the middle of nowhere. They don't just come all of a sudden, boom, everything's down. And if they do that, that's the best time to buy. The big crashes, the 2008s, the 2002s, those are months in the making. And there's a lot of early warning signs. I got to tell you, the last time I saw that big stuff play out back in 2007, I saw it coming, and I got all of my money to cash in the last month of 2007. Pretty much at the high, right before. I mean, I didn't know it was going to be the high. I didn't know 2008 was going to be so bad. All I knew is, hey, these are the conditions I watch for. It's time to gracefully step back. And we're not seeing any of those signs right now. But if you want to know what those signs are, well, that's what's part of my class.
Right, on that point, if they've got all these safeties and securities in stocks, and if stocks did hit a 10% pullback, crypto would be down 30% within hours, right? That kind of pullback's not going to be localized to the stock market. The more speculative markets are going to get, particularly the unregulated ones, are going to get annihilated, right?
Yeah, well, when John Paulson came out just the other day and said, "Oh, crypto, that the value of that's going to go to zero," you just scratch your head on what he could have even possibly meant. But if that billionaire policymaker from years past is coming out and saying the crypto market has no value, that's going to be deep in the psyche of crypto investors and traders everywhere. So it depends on what crashes the market. If the market is crashing just because people are out of money to invest and they're scared and they want to stop speculating, they want to put their money somewhere else, they want to somehow hunker down and they think that holding on to their cash is the right thing to do, then yes, the stock market would crash and crypto markets would crash even faster. But every time we get into a situation of so-called panic or crisis or whatever, the governments and the central banks of the world today have a very predictable response. Get out there and print more money. And every time that happens, it devalues currencies and inflates the value of things you can purchase with those currencies. The most reliable value proposition right now is not gold or silver or any of those. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that might be, but I'm just going to say ever since 2011, anytime we've had a signal for inflation, gold and silver have not responded, but stocks, U.S. stocks have. And so U.S. stocks continue to be the best opportunity gatherer in cases where a crisis occurs. As strange as that is, I mean, if that changes, then we'll know, big societal problems are on the way, but we'll have lots of evidence of seeing that change. And that's one of the things I like to talk about every Monday morning is if any of those signals are showing up. Right now, nothing as far as you can see on the horizon.
Cheers, Gordon. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate the interview this morning. We'll put it into the show tonight, and we will offer that product at the end of the show today. We're going to offer your Learn to Trade Stocks course, a Learn to Trade Crypto course, and a Forex course as well, with a Forex account tied into it. Special offer tonight, so the guys can hang around for that. And I look forward to speaking to you. It's always a pleasure, Gordon. Every time I speak to you on this stuff, I always learn a bit of stuff, and I love that. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Look, there was a far longer video than what I was planning on. I was planning on having a sort of 10-minute chat with Gordon, but he does bring a lot of really interesting stuff to the table. And I think his case that stocks have been the most consistent product over a period of time is hard to argue, And look, again, that doesn't mean that everyone's got to go and start trading stocks. That's not at all. All it suggests is if you're quite conservative in nature, like if you're conservative in nature, then jumping into cryptocurrency and leaving stocks would be an insane decision. If you're an aggressive investor, then jumping into cryptocurrency and leaving stocks behind seems to be a really good decision. And if you're somewhere in the middle, I think perhaps Forex fills that role as well. Look, I want to ask Shukri and Lloyd if they've got any comments to having watched the video before we start and talk about some of the stuff that's coming up and how you can actually learn stocks, Forex, and crypto, and the sort of unique stuff we're going to teach in those programs. Shukri, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I remember what he said, John Paulson, saying that crypto would go to zero. But that to all people in the crypto market is actually a bullish signal, because we kind of seen that before with who was that? JP Morgan CEO, right? Jamie Dimon, 2017. So same thing happened again. It's coming back, but that's crypto. It is when you really do not want to sell and you feel you're the god of trading. That is when you are like 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week away from a major crash. So I don't think we have done there yet. But the good thing about crypto now, today, is that you will finally have a real use case, and that is non-fungible tokens. Because you have Visa, of all things, having never bought Bitcoin before, buying their first NFT. Okay, they bought an NFT, 150,000 US dollars. And it's called a CryptoPunk. It's something from 2017, right? It's this old age thing. And this is a different world altogether, Paul. So what I'm doing now with Crypto Moon 3, I'm trying to bridge people from the crypto world into the NFT world. It is very difficult. It is very not easy, but it's fun. Because
can I ask you a question? Because that's look, I've got a couple of things to talk about before we get to it. The first thing is that's the first time I've heard anyone talk about doing anything in crypto being fun as opposed to being a complete and utter shambles, right? So if getting into NFT is fun, it's a different world. One of the things I really like about these guys that they make these great statements, right? I want to say on record right now that I believe that crypto will go to zero and that Bitcoin will go to $100,000, because in the next 10,000 years, I'm going to be right on both of those at some stage, right? Yeah. At some stage, crypto will be replaced. The world will fall down, right? It's not going to be like this forever, right? So at some stage, everything will go to zero. And at some stage, Bitcoin will find $100,000. And you can say these things and they sound really flash, but really the fait accompli, you know, crypto at some point in the next 100 years will be replaced by something that is the same but cleverer. Right, there'll be another version of it, and it'll just wipe it out at some point, but maybe the next 1,000 years, I don't know. But it will, you know, Bitcoin won't be around forever. But it doesn't mean it's not a great investment right now. It's just a way of getting yourself on the side, on the news sound bites, right? I find some of the stuff they say insane. So non-fungible token. So that starts with non-fun.
Yeah.
And, you know, which sounds like setting up most crypto things to me. You're saying non-fungible tokens is, look, one of the things I heard, and I won't quote the numbers, Shukri, but I've known you for a couple of years now, and I've never known you ever to go past $1,000 to $1,500 per project. Yeah. And the amount of money you told us the other day you were putting away for NFTs astounded me. It's not $1,000, it's not $1,500, it's not $10,000 or $15,000. It's a lot of money, and you clearly believe this is the way the world's going. Like NFTs are the future. Correct.
I think they are, because they change things. What is fungible? But before we get that, fungible. See, the thing is this, Paul. If I own a Bitcoin and you own a Bitcoin, nothing differentiates my Bitcoin from your Bitcoin. You know, it's the same.
Apart from eventually you'll sell yours for a lot more than I sell mine, because you're better at this stuff. Other than that, there's no major difference, right?
And we can sell to Lloyd, and nobody knows it's ours. But I'm still trying to find this NFT. There was another Bitcoin that was created a long time ago that has colors, and now it's different. My Bitcoin is different from your Bitcoin. And what happened with the NFT that Visa bought is just, it's something old. You're right. One day, Paul, this is going to change. But this is why I like NFTs. The old ones. Am I
going to be with a fortune soon? Are they going to turn into NFT because I'm old?
Yeah, it's like wine. It's red wine.
So what you're saying is that something that was successful 10, 15, 20 years ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Yes. I think of that picture of Marilyn Monroe, you know, walking over the event holding a skirt down, right? Everyone knows that picture, right? And someone's going to make an NFT out of that who's got the rights to it, and they're going to rebrand it, and it's going to take off again in a crypto world, right?
Yes, Paul, when you were small, you remember the comics, right?
Yeah.
They're now being resold as NFTs.
I was never small, Shukri.
They're now being NFT'd as comics.
Yeah, look, what they're really doing now is saying that, so when there was 50,000 different comics, they weren't worth anything because there wasn't 50,000 people that wanted them. Correct. But now if you can pick out the best of the comics, so there's only 5 comics available as NFTs, people pay a lot of money because they become the collector's items of the whole thing, right? So it's about trying to bring some quality and keeping it unique. It's not, NFT isn't making a comic store for every comic in the world. It's about getting some value for some good ones, for the ones that people remember, right?
Yes, and get this, Paul. The ones that are in black and white are more valuable than the ones in color.
But that means that there's no one under 60 buying it, that's for sure. So for you, look, one of the things we're going to do as part of this program is we're going to do Learn to Trade Crypto, 14th of November, so still a little while away. What are we doing in Learn to Trade Crypto?
Okay, Learning to Trade Crypto is actually going through the transition, catching the trends now. I think there'll be a very, very big boom from now until February. Last time was February, big boom. But after that is the most interesting thing, because, you know, crypto will have a winter. Coinbase already said it. Okay, so we have to believe Coinbase because they have all the data. What comes after that? That's where I think crypto will become like Forex. Crypto is a medium to buy something, which is the NFT.
Yeah, and winter is coming, right? Because
winter is coming. Yeah, and at that time, Paul, the traders will love this, because then you can use all your charts and all that. I don't use that now, but that time you have to use it if you want to trade crypto.
And this is the thing, right? Yeah. If you want to be in crypto at the moment, buy it, own it. Yes. Keep it in your wallet. Yes. And around February, it's get your money into brokerage and get short crypto and take the money on the way down, right? Because this is crypto, right? It's not going. When people say the crypto's going to the moon, it's like we've been to the moon, right? We go to the moon, we come back. We don't go to the moon and stay there, right? And crypto's exactly the same thing, right?
Very quickly.
Yes, very quickly, right? And so, okay, so the trading skills are the ability to be able to trade it on the way up and trade it on the way down, as opposed to the buying skills, right? The buying skills is crypto moon, buy the crypto, use it to buy NFTs. That's the pathway for that. And I'll be following you on that. I think on Sunday night, we'll be talking a little bit in the Wish AMA about how to get involved with you and NFTs as well.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, many ways. There are many ways, and you can hear there are many ways of you to join the crypto and NFT revolution, or whatever you call it. I'm confused too.
Oh, look, it's if I could actually work out what an NFT was right now, I've actually got a few ideas and things I'd like to do. I still don't quite know what it is, and it's a non-fungible token. I still don't know what that means exactly, but I'm trying to get there. Lloyd, last week we had Greg on our show with some different people on the journeys, making some money from the Forex market. We had Hingen, who's been doing really well, talking about his experiences. We had Greg and talking about his experiences. And look, we don't share everything, but Greg now trades on the accelerator session for Morris Capital. So he's got institutional money, and he did the first step course, and he's still trading the step strategy. He created a record that was good enough to convince Morris Capital that they should fund him and fund him to a reasonable degree. What's good about the step? We're going to teach that on 9th of October on Intro Forex to be part of this pathway as well. Why would someone want to learn the step?
First thing, I think what I have to emphasize is that I created the strategy not for myself. Most of the strategy I created is for myself, for my own consumption. But the step strategy was created for the explicit purposes for new traders, whereby in my opinion, it'll be easy for them to understand. And at the same time, I don't want to overburden them with too much technical analysis. Yeah. So this strategy is actually good enough to generate consistent return. And I think Greg has made a very good
income.
Poster boy.
Yes.
for the strategy. Yeah. So I would say it's a good stepping stone to get their feet wet into the Forex world. And then from there, they can possibly branch off into other strategies if they feel like it. Even if they don't want to, the strategy is good enough to hold its own water.
Well, I think that's one of the things, because I remember asking you when we did the step to find for online trading profits at the time to create me the simplest strategy that worked you could find. And I remember when you showed it to me thinking that the hardest part of this for us would be taking a day to teach it. That really we could teach it in a couple of hours. We had to do some psychology stuff around it to make it a day program. So it is really simple. And I think one of the things that Greg shows is that while it's really simple, and I'm a fan of this, right? Simple stuff works in my mind, but it stood the test of time, right? He's done this over, what would it be now, 12, 18 months since we launched the step?
I think a year, 12 months.
A year, yeah. And in that time, it's what he trades. He trades it with a bit of, background fundamentals from Julian and from his education with Julian as well, but has made a huge difference. Now, still, we're going to teach a new step on the 9th of October, right? We have a couple of changes coming to it. We're going to make a couple of little changes to the strategy, right?
Yeah, so I would say step version 2.
Step version 2.
Yeah, so because the step was, again, the strategy was created explicitly for new traders, for people who don't understand trading. So after the first round of teaching, getting some feedback and understanding how Greg trades, then I would say, there are some issues that possibly I should be addressing by the strategy. Rather than changing the trader, why not change the strategy? I mean, not change it completely, but adapt it to the psychological stage of the new traders at that point. Yeah, that would be easier to get them to profit. Yeah.
Look, it is a really simple strategy. Is it? Do you have any initial results from the second step?
Yeah, I have, and I'll be very, very keen to share. I have not completely finished the back testing, but about 3/4 of the pair is done. So without further ado, let me share with you. I think the best picture is this for me. So let me get it. So I actually did the test from January 2019 to this month, which is the 1st of August. Yeah, so I got 2.5 years of testing data. So you can see that overall, it's green. There are some troublesome pairs which still give me red, but it's not a drastic drawdown.
I'm surprised Euro GBP is not a winner at the moment. To be honest, it does surprise me.
Yeah. So overall, it's really green all the way, and the numbers below is what I think is really good. So of course, there's always two sides of a management. One that's catered to the new traders, which will be really this part. And because both have the same number of trades, they are exactly the same trading setup, just that management different. So one, we have a higher win rate, one have a lesser win rate, but and for the, I would say, people who already know trading, they might go for the tougher management, but the P&L on month, I would say it's pretty solid.
Yep. So you're saying, sorry, Lloyd, we're saying now the first one we win 43% of the time, but we make 9% a month. Is that right?
Yes.
And on the second one, we win 64% of the time, and we make 18% a month.
No, because the second one, the management, is harder for me to calculate the percentage. So I did not include the P&L. But what stands out for the second one is that for the number of winners, I mean, for people who really chase after winners, they got 18.5 winners, possibly 20 when I complete the last 4 pairs. Yeah.
So Lloyd, the first one's pretty easy, right? It wins 43% of the time. We'll call it 44 because it's pretty close. Makes 9% a month. It wins 12 and loses 16 trades a month. So we're dealing with 9% a month. That's a ridiculous amount of money compounded out. That looks really nice. The second one, we don't know the percentage, but it wins 64% of the time. Does it win at 1-to-1 or better?
No, higher than 1-to-1. So this one is, yeah, it's just 2:1.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty straightforward management.
Great. Okay. Really nice. Okay, so we'll get a chance. Thanks, Crystal. We will tell Lloyd that he needs a microphone. I actually think he's been using a microphone recently. He's done a bit of work on getting his camera up and all that kind of stuff. It's sort of been a lot better. I guess we've got coming up, we're going to make an offer for you guys not far away. I'm just going to have a look and see if there's anything over here that I've forgotten to talk about. Sorry, guys. We're going to do the trading masterclass again, where we're going to offer the 4 1-hour videos with Gordon, which he talked about being similar to his 1-to-1 stuff, where he's got more than half of his clients for the last year or so above average from new traders. So average return on S&P last year, I'd have thought maybe late 30s, early 40%. He's outperforming that. You've got the step strategy being taught inside Intro Forex on the 9th of October, where Lloyd will, or the team will come and teach you the step strategy. And we've got the Shukri doing the Learn to Trade Crypto stuff in November. Now, guys, what I'd like to do, if you have any questions, I'd like to ask the questions. Then we're going to do a prize draw. Then we're going to do the special offer. I'm going to limit the special offer today to the first 5 people that take it, because to be honest, it's a lot of content, and we are going to do it at a ridiculous price. And I can't have my stuff go out all over the world for this kind of money to everyone in the world, because really, it's a little bit, it's a little bit ridiculously cheap. Rightio, any questions other than Lloyd needs a microphone? Nice to see you, Crystal. Missed you in a couple of events recently. May have been traveling, maybe it's been on the different ones. I think I didn't even see you in this last week. Normally see you every week. Good to see you guys. Nice to see all the regulars back in. If you have any questions, we will do questions. If you don't have any questions, we are going to go to James to do the Wheel of Fortune. And what I'm going to do is first of all, I'm going to get James to put the offer into the chat right now. And you're going to get introduction to stocks, investing and trading with Gordon for normal value 349, instructions to Forex trading. You're going to learn to trade crypto. You're going to get a bonus top up of $200 in ATW Education trading account, and you're going to get the whole lot for $99. So you're going to get twice that in top up, never mind all the content. We don't do this very often. This is a bit of a one-off. We really are trying to encourage some diversity in our traders. We're keen to see some people trading Forex, stocks, and crypto. So there is the link for that rebrand trading masterclass. If you're one of the top 5 in, you can have that. Before we get too many people to click on that, here's what I am going to do. I'm going to give you guys the winner today is going to get a very, very special prize. And I think the day it's on is the 24th of October. It'll be a half-day course on the 24th of October. we're going to have one of our successful traders, a guy that has made a lot of money this year, come in and teach you a different strategy. It'll be a little bit of a tuck away. It won't be available for some weeks publicly, but I haven't priced it yet. I don't know whether it's going to be, how many $100 it's going to be, or how many $1,000 it's going to be, but I'm going to give away one seat on that today as part of the masterclass draw. So this is not part of the masterclass. This is an extra. This is a very special little product. We don't get to do new stuff like this all that often. So click on the link and do the masterclass. Shukri thinks that Crystal will win. There we go. Crystal thinks that Crystal will win. I think that Paul will win. James, you ready? Here we go. We're going to spin the wheel of fortune. Is it me or does it spin a lot slower these? So here we go. There it goes. There's the wheel of fortune. I can see some names going around there. Paresh, Crystal, John, Paul P, Claire. Oh, Crystal wins. Congratulations, Crystal. You will have to message me and tell me that you're still in the. Crystal does not appear to be here. We're going to have to do a redraw. Crystal must have just ducked out for a few minutes. It does not look like Crystal is here. So I'm going to give her 10 seconds to come in. And if she doesn't come in, and Lewis thinks we should do a redraw. Redraw. You spell like me, Lewis. So no Crystal at this stage. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm going to punch you via the internet. Crystal's our winner. She is in the room. Congratulations, Crystal. So let James know. James is in the room, so he'll make a note, and he knows the program that you're talking about, so he'll make sure you get invited to that. Look, thanks a lot for joining us this week. We're going to have no Media Trading Experts next Thursday. We've got IFP on Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week, and I'm going to have an evening off and get ready for the new clients. We're packed up. It's the busiest IFP we've done since we stopped doing them live, so we don't do them very often anymore too. So I'm going to spend Thursday evening with the family getting ready to that. So I'll see you the week after. I don't know what we're talking about then, but it'll be something fascinating. And look, I hope that sometimes you guys just understand me, and I could be wrong, but I don't do a program for $99 with a $200 account with Gordon, Scott, Shukri, and Lloyd for any other reason than I think you guys need to jump into it, that there'll be some stuff come out of that that'll be very, very good for my company as far as getting more people making more money. And that's the only reason we do it. You guys can work out right that at $99 with a $200 account, a day with Lloyd, a day with Shukri, and a day with Gordon, or 4 recordings with Gordon, sorry, that there's no money in this. I think we did this last week as well, Stuart. We did 3 last week. So if you bought it last week, you've got it. But take the hint from me based on what's involved in the pricing, that I'm prepared to basically give it away because I think that our people will get that much benefit out of it, and that my future profit share from it is worth it, right? That's why we do a lot of this content really cheap, because we think that it's got huge value to us long term. So my personal suggestion to you guys is not to miss out. We will let 5 in today. It will be packed up. There is no question. It's a ridiculous offer. Look, I want to thank Shukri and Lloyd for coming in, and particularly for sitting through Gordon's recording. It was bloody long. I really like it. He said some brilliant things, but it's a long time to sit around as a guest. So thanks for being so good about it. Thanks for coming and sharing about your part of this. I think before I actually let you go, one more thing. Shukri, crypto's number 1.
Yeah. Crypto's infinite.
It's the time. It's the time for now, right? For you, it's crypto's time for now, right? And this is the difference, right? That stocks is going to do that,
yeah,
and crypto's going to do this, and then we're about to do that.
Do this and do like that, it's going to go up and then it's going to just fall down. Yeah.
What about you, Lloyd? How are things in the in the Forex world?
I think Forex now to me is evergreen because it's been so consistent for me. It's like, even if I shut both eyes, profit is still going to flow in for me.
I'd like to see that, to be honest. That'll make a good show. Trading with both eyes closed. Actually, I see the odd person's account. I wonder if they do that at times. No, Crystal, you didn't win in this $99 course. In fact, if you want it, you can have it. The course that you won, we haven't released to the public yet, and we won't be releasing it for 3 or 4 weeks, but it is exceptional. So you can choose. If you want this course, just punch that in there and James will take it for you. Otherwise, take the mystery course, and it's a mystery course you will want to be on. Thanks, everyone. I will be away next week. I'll be back Sunday night with the Wish AMA, and then I'll be back the following Sunday night with the Wish AMA probably, and I'll be back the following Thursday with you guys in this show. Cheers, Crystal. Hope I'm going to see you Sunday night. Cheers, everyone. Have a great weekend. Take care. Look after yourselves and trade wise. See you guys. Bye. Have a great weekend as well, guys. See you.